Hello everyone and welcome back. It has been a long time, but here we are back again to continue this amazing course that we have started with. I'm really sorry for what happened, but it's really like the situation was like somehow not stable and things like that, but hopefully right now we can get this course done and then move to Tickets Basket and so on before we start with the new surprises. Very soon I'm going to have a link on my website, ahmedmuzaffar.net, that actually you can check the schedule and the dates of each video and when it's going to be published, and all of this stuff is going to be ready hopefully in the coming few days. So in that case, you're not going to be lost. You can just follow the schedule and maybe organize your time of the course based on that. So thank you so much for your patience, and right now we are back. In the previous session, what we have done is actually implementing the logic of the create plan, right? If we have implemented already the form, now we have implemented the logic to communicate with the post API/v2/plans. Let's see what we have done very quick. So if we go to /plans/form, we have created this amazing form to actually create a new plan. So let's try to see that very quick. Continue PlannerApp. This is PlannerApp. This plan is to continue the current course and so on. We can pick a picture or we can keep the default one. Let's click on save and see what's going to happen. So we have done some really good job. I hope you get the benefits out of all of this. Right now, what the next step is actually, it's going to be something very similar. It's not going to be create, you have to implement edit. So the question right now is how edit is going to be implemented. Well, as we have said before that, if we go to the API, so here, as you can see, we already have the post to add a new one, and we have put, which actually take the same parameters, but here the ID is required for the edit, because to know which one we are editing, we should pass the ID, title, description, and we pass a cover file. So either we pass a one or we don't, so we keep the old one, right? So to do so, we are going to use the exact same form with the exact same UI and everything. Here we go. Everything is just great. This is our plan, and it has been created. So right now we should implement this button. And when we click on that, what's going to happen actually is something like this. Form, but you are going to add the ID. So when you open that form, we should take that ID, bring that plan, fill the data in the form, and then the submit, in this case, going to call this endpoint and not this endpoint. So let's go ahead and start implementing this. So we need to fetch the plan by ID first, and then implement the put plan. So let's do all of that. I will stop the application. Here I am in the latest Visual Studio 2022, the preview 3. It's something amazing. I highly recommend you to go and install it if you haven't already. So in the PlannerApp.client.services, if you open that, we go to interfaces, iPlan service. So you can see that we have get plans, create a plan, and edit plan. Let's implement another one, which is get a plan by ID. This is the first step. So API response, like that. Plan detail, we are going to retrieve this object, and if we take a look at that, actually, as I've said, we have the plan detail and we have the plan summary. The plan summary is something to retrieve just the minimum data required. Plan detail, here we retrieve the plan with the list of the to-do items that actually we need to do. So, but for now, let's retrieve that. Let's implement that. Get by ID. Sorry for that. Get by ID async, and then we can type string ID. That's it. It's something pretty simple. We have added it to the interface. Let's go right now to HTTP plan service, and let's implement the logic of that function. So I'll go over here and type public async task. It's going to retrieve API response, plan detail, and perfect. It's called get plan by ID async. Or sorry, get by ID. I think it's called get by ID, something like that. String ID, here we go. So that's perfect. Now let's do the same. Var response equals await HTTP client.get async. Let's pass the URL, which is /API/v2/plans, and we pass the ID. Is that right? Let's go to the Swagger endpoint just to make sure that everything is right. And yeah, it's like this. So I'll go over here. Here we go. Let's do the exact same thing that we do over here. I'll put that over here. We can actually remove this repetition of the code by putting this as an extension method. We can call it resolve response or something like that. We are going to do so in a later session for improvements. I think I have a type over here. Let's call this one response, something like this. Perfect. But the type is not page list. It's just a plan detail. So plan detail, like that, and here we go. Right now the logic to get the plan by ID is already here. Now let's go by saving this and saving that. Let's go to the Solution Explorer, and then I'm gonna go to the PlannerApp. We have the plan form, as you can see over here. So this one, the logic of edit will be implemented over here. So let's add a parameter public string ID. Well, this is the ID. Now we need an indicator to know if this is an edit process or it's an update or it's an add process. So we are going to make public is edit mode equals to actually ID is not null. So if this ID is not null, then this read-only property is going to be true. And in this case, if it's true, then here, instead of calling create, we will call update. And that's it. But before doing that, we have a little thing to be done, which is now we are filling this data from the form. But for edit, we have to fill this model actually from the plan that had the details, the plan that will be fetched by this ID. We fill this data here so the user can see them in the UI, and later on he clicks submit and we call update instead of calling isEdit. So let's do the fetch first. I will create another little function over here. I'll call it private async task fetch plan by ID async, something like that. Perfect. Call is busy equals true, then is busy equals false, and over here it's going to be a very simple function. So this is in case any exception happened. I'll put that over here. But in case that exception was from the API, this is something that we have created. What we are going to do is to show the message that comes from the API response. Maybe state that this plan is not found or something like that. So as a quick reminder, this API exception is a custom one that we handle for the bad request exceptions or when something comes back error from the API. So we handle it in a specific case. But for any exception, we just show here. For now, I'm showing ex.message, but we should hide this message from the user and we show like something went wrong, please contact the administrator or try again and so on. That's perfect. What you have to do right now is just to call var result equals await plan service dot get by ID, and then we pass the ID. Just something like that. It's very simple. So if there is an error, this one will be thrown, but if not, we have right now the model. So what we are going to do is to fill the model dot title equals result dot value, which is the object dot title. Let's do the same. Okay, sorry for that. Model dot let's say cover URL. Cover URL equals result dot value dot cover URL. Or another thing that we can do is just to make things simpler, just equals result dot value. So instead of the new one that we have here, we just assign the value that's coming from the server with all the properties. So right now, because of this has right now the plan that comes from the server. So if we open up the Blazor tab, as you can see over here, those text fields will be filled from the value that comes from the server, right? But the only thing that we have to show, which does not exist right now, which is showing the image that's already been selected by the user, to just so the user knows that this is the image of this plan. If you want to edit it, you can pick a new one. If not, just keep it, and it's not going to be removed. This is being handled well by the API. So let's add that image. We are going to say if is edit mode only, show an image, as the source of this image is going to be at model. Sorry for that. At model.cover URL, right? That's something good. And let's add some little styling. Actually, I'm going to make it inline style just for width, like 80%. Let's make it 100% of the. I prefer to make it. Let's just keep it 75%. I think that's enough. And let's add just margin we can add that as a class using the classes of the map Blazor. So margin, so okay, M2. So this means this is a margin existing in map Blazor. So this is for the edit mode. Now the last thing that we have to do is to call this function after onInitialized if it's in the edit mode. So let's override onInitialized, AC, something like that. That's perfect. And we'll type if is edit mode, then await feature plan by ID AC, something like that. As you can see, this is very simple. And in case you have any questions, just put it in the comment section, and I will get back to it as soon as possible. But again, we click on the edit, we go and we send the ID of that plan that we want to edit, we fetch it by ID from the API, then we put it in this model that's being bound to the form, and then for the submit, we will call update. But before doing that, implementing the update and call it, let's check if everything is working fine right now by just running the project, or, sorry, for doing this, let's go to the plan card, on view, on edit. What is on edit? Let's go to the plans list. So here we go. We should visit the plans list. Sorry, plans card list. Here we go. So for this plan card, we have on edit, right? On edit, neglect. So what we can do, let's go to the code behind, and let's inject public navigation manager. Navigation. So this one, we'll call it edit plan, and we will pass the plan just like this. Let's create that function in the code behind. So over here, private void edit plan. It will take a plan summary as an object plan. What we have to do is navigation.navigate to. We are going to navigate to plan /form/ the plan.id, just something like that. Okay, and that's going to work very well. But we have a little problem over here. This code needs a little bit of improvements, because what if we are on the plans table section? So we need also to copy this code and put it also here in the plans table, or we can make this one and this one reference to a code that's existing here. So let's see. I'll show you what we mean, and I'll show you the problem so you can get a better understanding out of that. So here we go. Let's go to plans. So here we go. We have our plans right now, and I want to, oh, look at that. Here we have a very cool message from one of you. Thank you so much, whoever it is. Thanks a lot for that nice sentence. So let's click the edit button. Go to plans /form/ID, and it didn't work, and the reason why is because, yeah, sorry, that was my fault, because right now the plans form page is not taking actually a parameter. So let's open up this one, plans. So this one should take, it's either this, or we have to add another route, which is ID, something like that. And in the code behind file, we should take an ID as a parameter. I know, sorry for that, it's not plans, it is create edit form. So sorry, I've done it in the wrong place. So it should be like this, or take an ID. Let's remove that from over here. So perfect, and let's go to the code behind file by clicking F7, and over here let's take that parameter. This is how we receive a query parameter. Actually, we add a parameter over here, and then we add the name here at the top, as you can see, and this is it. So that's something not complicated. And let's pass that ID to here. So it's either null or it's being exists, and in both cases it's going to be passed for the plan form, which you have seen. It will handle it like this. Take it, check if there is edit mode, then if it's is edit mode, then fetch that plan and fill out the model of the form. Let's take a look right now. Perfect. I'll go to plans. Here we go. Let's click on the edit button. And here we go. Look at that. It has been loading, and this is by ID. We have the title, we have the description, we have the image that's already been selected by the user, that's something great, right? Now we can click on load picture, we can change it, or we can keep this one. The only thing that's left is to click save. So instead of calling the create, we call edit, we pass the ID and those new data, and then it's going to be created. So that's something perfect. We are almost done. So sorry, like this session is going to be a little bit long, but yeah, that's fine. We have done some very cool progress. So the next session we can move to delete and things like that. So let's right now go back to the plan service like that, interfaces, and let's implement. Oh, we have already done edit in the previous session. That's amazing. Look at that. It is the same. If you notice that it takes a prepare plan form, you can check a previous session of create to see how we have done this. But the only thing that's different is update passed as true. It takes the ID and pass it because it's required by the API. If not, if it's new, so we don't pass the ID. So everything is looking great and it's already implemented. Let's go to the plan form again, and over here it's going to be very, very simple. If is edit mode, then var result. I don't think we need the result. Let's just call plan service dot edit, and we pass the model and the form file. Something like this. Else we do it like that. We don't need this, and here we go. Look at that. This is very simple, very neat and gentle. I have like this way of coding that you have to try to master, of trying to make things as simple as possible, like and self-explanatory. If you read the code, is very simple. And if you understand this very well, I think that you are able to do a lot of amazing things with Blazor and in .NET in general. But yeah, keeping your code clean and very readable and easy to maintain is something, one of the great skills that you should focus on while you are writing codes, even if it's a tutorial or if it's like real things. So let's click on plans again, and I will click on this. Click on this, and let's say continue PlannerApp v2, and continue this course and keep it amazing with you. Thanks a lot for you, everyone. Let's click on save. Now it's going to call edit and not update, and look at that. We have our plan updated. That was very simple, very easy, right? And it gave the image. Let's try to right now keep everything as it is, but let's pick another image. So I'll pick, like, for example, let's pick this. If I go to desktop, let's pick this tree actually. Let's click on save. And the edit functionality is working 100%. Now we can add a new one, we can create a new one. Everything is just perfect. The only thing that's left is, what if you are in that table mode? Actually, this button is not working, right? Because we have implemented the logic only for the card. And to do that, let's keep that for the next session, because it's something very simple. Right now we have focused on the edit and everything is going great. I hope you understand everything. Once you have implemented that, we have already went like very good with this approach. The code is clean. Now, right now in the next session we are going, just to make it very quick, of taking that logic out of the planner card list. We are not going to make the cards list, which is specific for us, for that card things, to have the logic of the edit. I know the logic of the edit is just going to this page, but instead of copying this, this, and put it in the table. No, we're not going to do that. We're going also to, because if you notice over here that of the plan card, let's take a look, that it's already having an event like when the user click on the on edit button, right? And then we are subscribing for that event on the planner card list, and what's going to happen is we are going to add another one on plan edit on edit click, and then we subscribe for this event on plans list. So we have the navigation property here, and we have also the logic to go to navigate or to delete is also existing in the very parent, and table and the cards list are communicating with the same thing. So yeah, we're going to talk about that in details. It has been like a little bit long session. I hope you liked it, and you have got the experience out of this. Don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe button, and see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.